November 1st, 1997. This is the day when Treehouse TV launched. A worry-free and commercial-free channel dedicated to preschoolers within Canada, and even some from the United States who are close enough to get the broadcasting signals. Parents and preschoolers experience a variety of fun and imaginative programming from 6 in the morning until bedtime. Treehouse features a variety of programs from Canada and around the world. Some are exclusive to Treehouse TV, like Crazy Quilt and Ants in Your Pants. But there is one show that many of us will recognize for its impact on the channel, and that show is none other than Treetown.
Hello everybody, it's time to play. Grab all your toys and come along this way. Make a funny face, shake it away. We're gonna have a great day. Treetown, Treetown, a place to clown around town. Treetown, Treetown, songs and stories and fun. Treetown, songs and stories and fun. Treetown!
That was the intro for the full series. However, Treetown actually started off as interstitials and vignettes. So, let me back things up for a moment. When Treehouse launched in 1997, the show would be placed between programs for young viewers to pay a short visit to Treetown, approaching as a vibrant and make-believe world on the branches of a toy tree. They wouldn't be the only visitors though. Once in a while, they would have special guests like Douglas John, the Stylamanders, and Jack Grunsky. Inside the tree is a community of characters who share their daily discoveries, challenges, and adventures with those viewers. The main hosts of the show are Tansy and Rosabelle, played by Kathleen LaRoe and Denise Oliver.
My name is Rosabelle. And my name is Tansy.
From here, we introduce the Treetown toys who also participate in the activities and interact with the audience. In fact, the actors who played as Tansy and Rosabelle has done the puppeteering and voices for some of these characters. We have Suzanne Magique, a marker who comes in different colors, puppeteered and voiced by Denise Oliver or Rosabelle. Lillian, a doll who usually does the narrations for stories and nursery rhymes, like Mary Had a Little Lamb, puppeteered and voiced by Kathleen LaRoe or Tansy. Up next, we have characters who were puppeteered and voiced by Jeff Sweeney. First, we have Kush, a 3-year-old who considers himself to be a Kush, and the only one of his kind, interestingly enough. He is one of the main singers who loves to read and play with his Treetown friends. Then there's Osbert Plunky, a red and yellow basketball who is very playful and loves to bounce around. There's also Ruby Raycraw, a character made up of various parts who loves to fix things up and compose music. And lastly, Stu the Dump Truck, the only character who does not communicate verbally but communicates with everyone else by honking and beeping, kinda like RC from Toy Story. Overall, there are 7 characters, but there are also a handful of rarely seen characters. Sometimes we would see a baby ball named Baby Bading, who seems to be related to Osbert Plunky. Apparently, we also have a sock puppet named Mr. Stinkyfoot, who is actually played by Rosabelle, and some additional characters like these hands and doodles. When Treetown began airing in November 1997, it was a fresh start, but it was more so of a time of experimentation and development for the Treetownies. For instance, in some clips that feature Kush, one may notice a difference in his voice. Take a listen.
Hey, Kush.
Yeah, Kayla?
Are you good at counting?
Yeah.
Let's count together.
Okay.
1, 2,
2,
3,
3,
4, 5 little monkeys, they were swinging in the tree.
Thinking back to the characters that were voiced by Jeff Sweeney, it is noticeable that all of them have high voices. Basically, the problem is that they were hardly distinguishable. So eventually, they decided to make adjustments and lower his voice a bit.
Yeah. If I ever want anything on the top shelf, I have to ask somebody big to go and get it.
What? What?
Walk in.
Oh, walk in.
Yeah. Oh, hello, Mr. Chinny Chin Chin.
Does it tickle as much when you do it to yourself?
No.
No? Oh.
And sooner or later, we would hear the voice we're all familiar with.
Wow. Well, why don't we play a game or something?
Well, I already played with all my games.
Well, I know a game where you don't need anything to play except your two hands.
Oh, what?
It's called patty cake.
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah?
Okay, put up your hand.
Okay.
What's interesting is that they even made a slight change to Kush's design. After a few skits, the puppet builders added black felt on his eyelids. Going forward, this is the design we will see for the rest of Treetown's run. In 1998, we could see that they were getting somewhere. From time to time, they would do meet and greets at Shaw Communications, which was the former entertainment company that owned Treehouse TV. In addition, they would visit buildings like Seneca College to record at an auditorium for their audience. A small clip can be found on the internet regarding this. I believe it's from 1998, but it might be from 1999 or so. Aside from this, Treetown would release a video cassette distributed by Telegenic, now known as Kaboom Entertainment. This might also be from 1999, judging by the copyright information at the end of this tape, but the slipcover says 1998 though. Anyway, they would release a full episode on VHS called Playing Together, or Games. However, this is the only tape they ever released, so finding this tape today is a hassle. Treetown was seeing a rise this year, but they definitely were by next year. Somewhere in circa 1999, the show added new sets to expand on the young viewers' visits to Treetown. Watch through the entire 1998 VHS and you'd realize that everything was filmed and shot on the same set. Here's an overview for each house. The viewers would visit Kush's library, a place for Treetownies to borrow books, and a place for Kush to keep all the books. They would also visit Suzanne Magic's doodle room to draw and play with the doodles. They would even visit Rosabelle's growing room, a place for Rosabelle to grow her plants and flowers. And finally, they would visit Ruby Ray's Make-It Shop, a place for Ruby Ray to build inventions and repair things. There are houses that were never visited, but I can identify some of them. This one right here is Osbert Plunky's house, and this is Tansy's room for dress up, I think. The rest remains a mystery though. As we continue onwards, our fellow Treetown friends do perform on stage, like appearing at the Mel Lastman Square in Toronto for Winterfest 99. But it keeps getting better. This is the year they launched their Treehouse live show called Playing Under the Sun, where Tansy and Rosabelle visit malls all over Canada to sing some Stooby-Dooby songs
Doobie 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 doo.
and have lots of fun. This is also the year they launched the Treehouse Jam, a sing-along with Douglas John, Lickety Split, and Kush. By the summer or fall of 1999, they released their first piece of merchandise, a CD, which was manufactured and distributed by Zeppelins Incorporated, or Jacqueline's Music. This is where we would hear one of the more well-known Treetown songs, called I Love Purple Stew, a childhood classic among Treetown fans.
Whip, 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 whip. I love purple. Stooby dooby dooby doo.
Going back to what I said about the series, the full episode started airing on Saturday, September 11th, 1999, in the afternoon. And this is when Course Entertainment took over Treehouse, and they are the current owners of the channel today. Man, what a year for Treetown. As we entered the year 2000, the tours and concerts were still running. They launched Wonky Woo this year, a theatrical presentation for introducing the preschool set to the excitement of live musical theater. They released more merchandise like plush versions of Osbert Plunky and Kush. To keep things short, 2000 was just a continuation of 1999, at least until the fall season. Due to programming changes on Treehouse, the weekend series for Treetown was taken off the air by September 2000. Along with this, the Playing Under the Sun tour ended around the end of October 2000. As a result, 25 cities were visited, and 67,000 fans came to see Tansy and Rosabelle. All in all, it was another successful year. By 2001, the original production run for Treetown ended. The show produced skits for about 4 years. From this point forward, it's all reruns. It is understandable that they would end it here because there were other shows that were in the works like We Three and The Biddles. This was the case for Jeff Sweeney. Kathleen LaRoe, or Tansy, moved on to work on clown performances and improvisations in theater, film, and television, while Denise Oliver, or Roosevelt, moved on to do more voice acting. However, it wasn't until 2003 when they brought back Treetown for a spin-off series. It was called Osbert and Kush, a 2-in-1 interstitial that contains content for Kush at the library and Animal Chat with Osbert Plunky. Everything was filmed in 2002 within the span of a few days, given that the episodes were only a minute long. In the same year as they were shooting, the Treetownies made a brief appearance in the website promo, and that was really the last time the puppets were ever used. So if the puppets were no longer in use, what happens next? Well, in 2003 to 2005, the only Treetown appearances would be on the Treehouse Jam, with Kush in a mascot-like costume. It ran from 1999 to 2005, before it switched over to Sing Along with Douglas John for the 2006 season. They also aired this promo around the same time and included Kush, so they were definitely still considered the main mascots of Treehouse. To be fair, Treetown shorts were still easy to catch until the fall 2006 season, when they became sporadic. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the full episodes of Treetown did come back in 2003, but they were left in the graveyard slot. Treetown songs were around in miscellaneous DVD releases like Toddler's Next Steps. Treetown vignettes stopped airing in 2004, but they would suddenly return for the fall 2005 and fall 2007 programming. Then we entered the 2010s decade, and the last broadcasting for the full series of Treetown was on February 27th, 2011. But wait, this sounds surprising, but Treetown shorts were actually airing as late as 2012, according to CRTC logs. Just a few times a year though, and we know that by 2013 they were gone altogether. Looking at what Treehouse has today, the only remnants from Treetown are the watermark and houses, and that's about it. Actually, if you want, you could imagine that Kush still does the voiceovers for promos today, since Jeff Sweeney is still at it. In the end, Treetown is one of those shows we may take for granted. Sure, it can come off as a quirky kid show, even though the quirkiness can be quite charming at times. It is important to acknowledge what Treetown has done to increase the viewership. Not only that, but the memories that came with it as well, like the catchy songs, zany games, and the entire atmosphere and feel of the show. And also the fact that Treetown influenced the channel's themes, so that really says something. With all this and more, the legacy of Treetown will live on.
Treetown,